Say, kids, what time is it?
It's story time!
Hey, welcome back. Obviously, since we have this video up here, I got my one thumbs up. So thank you very much for posting that single thumbs up. I'm sure that other people may have posted thumbs, but as soon as I saw the first thumb, boom, I went in and uploaded this video. And so as you can see now for the format, we're looking at about 10-15 minute episodes. So this is good for just a night story right before bedtime and everything. So hey, here we go. This is our story time with old dog. Yeah. So we'll just do 10-15 minute episodes each to keep them nice and short so that you can just go and say, hey, we got 15 minutes before bedtime. Let's have a bedtime story of Steve DeWinter's best-selling Herobrine's Quest series. So let's go ahead and let's move on and continue on. So here we go. And again, for this one, I'm only going to ask for one thumbs up to post the next one for the next 10-minute segment. So here we go. The biofeedback systems of the virtual reality pod was working perfectly. Without moving muscle in the chair in the real world, Josh was able to control his Minecraft avatar using only his brainwaves. He looked down at his arms and lifted them into view. It was always strange to feel your arms move, but instead of the pink fleshy noodles he was used to seeing, he was looking at the square block arms with no hands of the Minecraft avatar. Thanks to the virtual reality pod he was plugged into, it was as if he was really Steve in a real Minecraft world. But this world was different from any he had ever seen before. For starters, it was a completely flat world with only one or two things visible in the distance. One of them looked like a portal to the nether realm, and the other was a creeper that wandered around the portal. Text formed along the bottom of the screen. Hey buddy, can you hear me? Josh knew from previous sessions in the VR pod, all he had to do was speak his reply and it would type it out as if he were chatting with Andre in the game. I'm doing good, but I don't see Herobrine anywhere. There's just a portal with a creeper guarding it. As soon as he started talking, the creeper looked in his direction and started getting closer. Uh-oh, I think the creeper can hear me. He's coming. Andre typed his response. Shoot him with a bow. Josh thought about his inventory and the screen shifted to show that he had nothing but a map. I don't have anything. He thought about the crafting menu and nothing happened. He must be in survival mode. His heart started thumping loud enough for him to feel it vibrate his whole body. He needed to get out of survival mode as fast as possible, especially with a creeper nearby. Their father had already told them that the VR system communicated at such a deep level with the brain that any injuries they got while on the pod could transfer to their body in the real world. Once, they had witnessed the bruising that formed on their real skin when they fell off a cliff in the game. They quickly decided that if you died in the game, your brain would probably shut down and you would die in the real world. For this reason, they always entered Minecraft in creative mode. But for some reason, Andre forgot to change the default settings on this new server, and he was still in survival mode. He suddenly remembered the creeper nearby and thought about killing it with a sword. His empty inventory flashed on the screen again. As soon as he stopped thinking about his inventory, the screen shifted back to the view in front of him, and the flashing creeper that was too close for comfort. He yelled out loud, his voice becoming text in the chat window. Andre, change the settings to creative mode. Do it now! The creeper flashed faster and he turned to run, just as it exploded. Josh was thrown several feet from the force of the blast and watched a heart blink out of existence along the bottom of his vision. Inside the pod, his body convulsed from the rush of adrenaline as he got back to his feet in the game. Andre typed on the screen, What just happened? A creeper exploded near me while I was in survival mode, you jerk. Sorry, I'm overriding the server settings now and switching you to creative. The row of hearts along the bottom of his field of vision suddenly disappeared. He thought about the creative menu again and an assortment of materials filled his view. Andre's text filled the chat window. There is a special block in the lava bucket tab that finishes the portal. Once you activate it, you can go through and you'll be either in another realm with Herobrine. According to Craft Killer, the creative menu has been disabled in the nether realm, so be sure to get everything you need from the overworld before going through. I'll give you a half an hour, and then I'll quit you out of the game and it will be my turn. Josh mentally swiped through the various creative menus and selected the important items he would need. A bed, crafting table, diamond sword, diamond pickaxe, some torches in case it got dark, or he needed to go underground. For good measure, he also grabbed a couple of bows and 2 full stacks of arrows. He wasn't going to be caught empty-handed the next time a creeper tried to get close. He placed everything in his default inventory so that he wouldn't block his view of the world while switching between items in his hand. He approached the unfinished portal. It was made from a type of block he'd never seen before, not even in any of the mods he had downloaded or watched on YouTube. And there had to be a million different mods for Minecraft, most of which he'd either seen or knew about. He switched his inventory selector to the block made from the same strange material as the portal and placed it in the empty space along the bottom. The portal shimmered and activated with a bright orange glow. Josh double-checked he had everything he wanted in his inventory and then stepped into the portal. He felt dizzy and his stomach did somersaults as the scenery shifted around him. Andre watched the monitor intently as Josh stepped into the portal, and then the connection to the server dropped. He frantically typed on the keyboard to reboot the server, but nothing happened. He looked over at the pod. It was on, which meant Josh was still in the game. But if Josh was in the game, why couldn't Andre see it on the monitor? Whenever one of them was playing, the other could always see what the player saw on the mirrored monitor outside the pod. Andre had seen the creeper, and to teach Josh a lesson for taking away first contact with Herobrine from him, he hadn't switched the settings to creative mode to protect him sooner. Let Josh get a little bruised up from the exploding creeper. He would have switched the settings if he thought it was about to kill him, but getting hurt was just part of life. Even if that life was currently being a block character in a block world. But to not be able to see the game running, that was something new. He walked over to the pod and stared into the small tinted window on the side. Josh didn't look like he was in trouble, and he wasn't dead. Andre breathed a sigh of relief. Maybe the game had shut down and Josh was in digital limbo waiting for Andre to shut off the pod. He looked back over at the monitor. It was still blank, and nothing he did seemed to start the server connection back up. He shrugged to himself. Better to bring Josh back now rather than wait. If the server did crash, he could just reset it and send Josh in again. Andre reached out and pressed the big red button that overrode the software and shut down the pod. Nothing happened. He pushed the button again using his whole hand. Still nothing. He pressed even harder until he thought the button would never pop back out again. The pod remained closed, and Josh was trapped inside with no way out. The dizziness faded, and Josh stepped out of the portal into another flat world that looked exactly like the one he had just left. For a moment, he thought the portal hadn't worked, and he was still in the overworld, until he looked around. In the distance was a single mountain, and at the top of the mountain was a massive dark tower that rose up to touch the top of the nether realm. "Who are you?" he heard a voice behind him rather than seeing any text appear in the chat window. He spun around and saw another Steve avatar standing there looking at him with a tilt of his head. "I'm Josh. Who are you?" The avatar pointed above his head. "What's it say above me?" Above the avatar floated the words, "Craft Killer 99. The avatar smiled. This was the first time Josh had seen an avatar with an animated face outside of YouTube videos that were made in 3D programs to look like they were created in Minecraft. "How did you get your avatar to smile?" Craft Killer moved forward. "This is a special server. You'll find you can do a lot here that has not been ported over to the official game release yet. By the way, Josh, you can call me CK." CK bowed. "So tell me, how did you find this server?" "You told my brother about it, and told him how to get here." "So where is he?" "Only one of us can use our dad's computer at a time." "That is odd. Can't you use a second computer and both come in?" "No, our dad works for the government, and they built a special computer that connects right into the brain. There is only one of them in the entire world." "And you got to use it first to come here?" Josh shrugged. "I won rock, paper, scissors." "What's rock, paper, scissors?" "You don't know what rock, paper, scissors is?" CK laughed. "Of course I do. I'm just teasing you." Josh looked around. "This certainly isn't what I was expecting." "What were you expecting?" "I don't know. Andre said that I would find Herobrine here." CK took a step back. "Herobrine? You want to meet Herobrine?" "Sure." "What about all the stories about him destroying avatars permanently?" "I don't believe him. Herobrine is a myth, never actually existed. The first time he was even mentioned was when he was supposedly removed during an update release. I don't think he was ever in the game in the first place. Then why did you come here? To prove to my idiot brother that he was wrong? CK moved in close, his eyes starting to glow with an inner light. Then I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. Andre tried restarting the computer several times. Nothing worked. Despite everything showing that the program had crashed, the pod was still functioning as if everything was normal, and no matter how hard he pushed the button, the pod would not open. He heard thumping sounds from inside the pod and ran over to look through the tiny tinted window. Josh was thrashing around inside the pod and yelling. "Hold on, Josh! I'll get you out of there!" Andre screamed. He tucked the tips of his fingers into the crease of the pod lid and tugged as hard as he could, but he could not pry the top off by sheer strength alone. He looked in the window and saw Josh stiffen and then relax, his head tilting to one side as if he had just fallen asleep. Andre ran through the lab as fast as his legs would carry him. He had to find Dad before something really bad happened to Josh. All right, so that hits our 10 minutes for this episode. So, hey, we're just doing quick snippets and everything as we go along. Thank you very much. All I'm asking for to post the next one to continue on with Herobrine Rises when our Herobrine's Quest book number 1 is 1 thumbs up. That's it. Very simple. We'll ask for a lot more thumbs up as we go along. But for now, we'll make it easy. Thank you very much. Have a great day.